Hi guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a seamless pattern and then apply it to a vector path in Illustrator and Photoshop to do something like this. Hi guys and welcome to Kelvin Designs. My name is Kelvin and I design, I guess that's why they call it Kelvin Designs. And in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a seamless pattern in Photoshop and then bring it into Illustrator and apply it on a path. It's a really cool new feature of Illustrator CC 2014 to do something like this. So to subscribe to my YouTube channel, click right here, and you'll get all these free tutorials just as they come out. And if you want the source files for this episode and all the other episodes that I do, just click right here and sign up and get all these free files. So let me show you how to do this pattern.
All right, so I'm going to show you how to make an art brush with rope and using Photoshop and Illustrator. So if you want to get the source files for this episode, just go to my website, kelvindesigns.com, and then click on the sign up button and just put your name and email, and it'll take you to a page that has all the source files for this episode and all the other ones. So to start, I actually need to find, I'm going to open this up again, I need to find a piece of rope to create this. And so I'll just go on Google here and search the word rope. And then I'll go to images, and now I have a bunch of images of rope in Google Images. Now, these images don't belong to me, so I cannot give them to you, but you're welcome to do the same search as I, and you don't even have to find the same rope. Any piece of rope will actually work well. What I'm looking for is a rope that has nice detail, kind of like this, and that is also easily outlineable. Like this is really nice, but there's a bunch of stuff around it. And while I could fairly easily outline this, I don't want to waste my time on it. So I like this one, which looks like this one. Over here has some nice fiber. It's fairly straight. So I'm going to just click on this and then view image. And I'm just going to take this and drag it to my desktop. And I can now close this. All right, and now I have it here, and I'm going to open it in Photoshop. Okay, so a couple of things. We see that it looks like it's been outlined before because you can see the edge is pretty, has no fiber sticking out. So this has been outlined previously, which is not a problem. All right, so what we're going to try to do, the first thing is I double-click this to make this a layer instead of a background layer. And the next thing I'm going to do is my rules are showing. If they're not on yours, you can hit Command R or View Rulers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all, Command A or Control A, and then Command T, and it gives me this free transform. The only reason I'm doing this is because I want to put a guide right in the center. So I'm going to do that. And you can't see it because it's hidden. But if I do View, Show, and Guides, we'll see it right there. All right, I'm going to hit Escape to get out of the free transform and Command D to deselect. I just wanted that guide in the middle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the marquee tool here and make a selection right in the center that snaps to that guide. And I'm going to create a new layer via Cut or Command Shift J. So what that did is it created a new layer and cut it out of the one below it. And the reason is, from this side to this side, it's actually perfectly seamless because it is a single image. So if I wanted to repeat, this is the easiest way to make that happen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this a little to the left, but I want to see a little through it. So I'm going to bring down the opacity, something like this, and I'm going to bring it over here, something like this, and then take this one and move this over here. And what I'm looking for is a somewhere where it can seamlessly get together. I'm trying to create a seamless pattern here. I'm using the arrow keys because it's a little easier for me. Go left and right, up and down. I'm trying not to go up and down. This is supposed to be fairly straight, which it's pretty close to. So if I do something like this, I know it's not perfect, but I'm going to now blend these two together. And the way I'm going to do that is very simply create a mask on this layer. Take a brush here and maybe make it a little bigger. Right click for that and make the hardness a little softer. Not too soft, and something like that. Maybe a little bigger actually. All right, something like this. Hit return, And then now I can go and I can hide this area, and I'm trying to create a seamless pattern. So something like this, and here as well. That's not bad. Now this, if I erase this, then we see that doesn't work. So I hit X and white will reveal. So I'm just going to go in here like this, something like that. Make that come in, and I'm brushing over these areas to get as seamless. If I go too far, I'm going to hit the underside of that other layer, so I can't go too far. Hit X again to reveal, and do this as seamless as possible. So this is not bad. Okay, now basically we created a seamless pattern here from this rope, and because we know that I cut it from the middle, so we know for a fact that these edges are perfectly seamless. All right, so once we're done with that, we can, there's a little detail in there that I can make a little better. So I'm going to take a smaller brush here, hit return, and with the black, with the white, go in there a little bit, just a notch in here, and then try to follow this piece of rope right here. That's pretty good. Okay, and now I'm going to take these two and Command E, which is merge layers. And there we go. So now I have one rope that's seamless, but now we need to outline it. So, well, there's a number of different ways you can do this. And this tutorial is not on how to outline something. We can try the magic wand. We can, I really like the quick mask function. It takes a little bit longer, but the detail is nice. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to go to quick mask over here, make my brush. I like, let's see how big this is. This is not bad. The size is not bad, but when I outline, I like having at least 85 hardness. Gives me a little soft edge. You can see it here. A little soft edge, but hard enough that I'm not making a very blurry selection. So I'm going to hit Command plus a couple times to zoom in. I like outlining at a pretty big percentage. And now I'm just going to go over here and click and then shift click. And what that does is it makes a line between your clicks. Essentially, I do not want any of the white, because if I have a black background, I do not want that to show. So the edge is actually pretty sharp, that you could actually do this with a magic wand, and you would probably get a pretty decent result. But I have a tendency I'm not crazy about the magic wand, even though it's gotten better and better, and you can do some refine edges with that. I like controlling my outline manually. Okay, and I can bleed over the edge over here. That's fine. And the top part, I can even just close this up a little bit like this. So go here and then shift click every time. And shift clicking is actually really, really handy because it just keeps your two clicks completely connected. And you could also do this with the pen tool, which I showed in an earlier episode that you can see on my YouTube channel. And you would get a really good result. But this is another method that I actually really like. So, all right, something like this. I also know some other people use channels by having the pixel selected. That's another method. But considering there's quite a bit of white in here, I wanted to do it this way. And I really wanted to have a crispy selection. Okay, so something like this. I can get a little bit of that bump in there. And we're almost done. Obviously, the more detailed you are, the smaller the brush, the more detail you're going to have. So, okay, and then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the magic wand tool in this selection, click in here so it selects all the inside. I go to the selection menu and I hit modify, expand, and we'll do 10 pixels. So it expanded it by that. And then I can just go in and fill with foreground, and now it's black. I could have just brushed in the inside, but this is the way I do it. Command D to deselect, and I go out of quick mask. You can just hit the Q or click this button. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And so I have a selection of the rope, but it goes out. So I want it to have I wanted to take out whatever is outside of this layer. So I'm going to hit the Command-Alt-Shift, and what that does is Command-Click on a layer makes a selection of the visible pixels of that layer, and Command-Alt takes out of that, and Command-Shift-Alt is an intersection, and what you'll see, boom, I do that, and now the pixels that were not on the layer are no longer selected. Okay, so now easiest way to do this is just create a mask, and now I have that. If I wanted to really make sure all the pixels are nice and clean, I create a new layer underneath, and I can either, here I have a red in my foreground, I'll just fill it, Command-Delete, and I can see all the little detail. And if I tend to do a color that's actually really far from anything in here, and since this is kind of a warm tone, green is actually better, and I don't really see any imperfections. And another thing that I sometimes do is look on, because it was a white background to begin with, I will fill it with black to see, has any of that white bled into it? Not really. So we're pretty good. It's a little blurry. The selection's slightly blurry, so if I want to adjust that, the easiest is for me to go into the mask over here and go and adjust using levels. And now these are the levels of the mask. So because I had a soft brush, 85, it's not super soft, but it's a little soft, there is levels in here of white and black and a little bit of gray in between. So if I, for example, bring my midtones in here, and you can see that my selection is being adjusted. So this is a really neat way of adjusting your mask using levels on a mask. I can see before, after. So I'm kind of eating into the selection a little bit, which is what I want. I could bring the black point a little in, and that way I lose a little bit of my fuzziness, but I know for a fact that I'm eating out a little bit of the white that I didn't want. Okay, so then I hit OK on that, and I could probably adjust the colors in here. I see that there's a little bit of cyan that I'm not crazy about. So what I can do is very simply create an adjustment layer. I can either do curves or levels. We could try, or we can even do a selective color. It's not bad. And I'm going to go here and go to my neutrals, and I'm going to tone down the cyan just a notch, just a little bit. And I want to make this a nice warm rope, so a little yellow, a little magenta, something like this. Okay, and let's see before and after. It's a little nicer. It's a little warm. This is a question of preference, obviously. And that's not bad. I want to do another adjustment layer just to have a little bit of an S-curve to give that rope a little more contrast. So I can go in here. Now, while I can create my S-curve myself, there are defaults for that, and I have a medium contrast over here, and that's pretty nice actually. Okay, and that's before and after. It's maybe a little bit strong. I'm gonna tone down the darks just a notch, something like that. Before and after. That's pretty good. All right, I'm going to Alt-click here so that it only affects the rope and not the layers beneath it. And let's see how this looks. Looks pretty good. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to do is crop the image. So I go to the crop tool here, or hit the C button. I like not making sure I never delete crop pixels, so I'll take that out. And that means that if I do crop the image, if there was any pixels here, they remain there outside of the artboard or outside of the canvas. So I'm going to bring this down here, something like this, and I can bring this a little bit here. I don't want to accidentally go into the image, so something like that is not bad. That's not bad. Let's see if it snaps to the edge there. Yeah, it snaps to the edge. So we can fairly risk-free go in there and make sure the edges are edge to edge. So that's pretty good. And maybe bring this up a notch, trying to center the rope in the canvas. All right, hit return, and now I have my rope. So I'm going to save as and put it in this source files, and I'm just going to call this rope. It's PSD with layers, and hit save. It's not very important, but I didn't look at the DPI. It's probably 72. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, good. Sometimes it's 300 DPI, and because I'm going to do this at 72, I wanted to make sure that it was 72. Okay, so now when we go to Illustrator, we can create a new document, and we're going to go and do web just because I want it 72 DPI and everything in pixels, just for simplicity's sake. And let's make this a little bigger. That's the artboard. Hit OK, and now I have my artboard. So I'm going to go in here and hit File, Place, and I'm going to place my rope. So that was on my desktop and in this folder. And I actually don't want it a link. I want it incorporated, meaning embedded into the file. So if you don't have this PSD, you can still use this file. So I place it and I put it right here. It's pretty big, which is pretty nice. So next thing I'm going to do is go to my brushes window. So right here, and make this a little bigger. And what I'm going to do is new brush, and I'm going to do what's called a pattern brush. So there's all kinds of different brushes, and for this tutorial, the pattern brush using this is at the best. So I hit OK, and it's showing me, so it automatically picked my this rope image that I have, and it's putting it right in the straight. I see that corners don't have anything, which is not great. So I'm going to see, what is it going to suggest? From the same image, it's suggesting auto center, auto between, auto sliced. We can look at what these different things do. This one doesn't look too bad. I think the auto centered probably looks the best. Looks the most seamless. And then we have an inside right here, which I'm going to do the same. So auto centered, and there we go. Okay. We can do an endpoint, but I don't actually have one. I could have, I could do another image that has the rope kind of rounded or not or something. But for this, I actually don't have an end. So I'm going to keep it like this, and we'll just call this rope and hit OK. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just move this outside of my artboard, and we're going to test this. We're going to test this this brush pattern. So I'm just going to make a simple curve just to see. Use the move tool. And if I apply my rope, it's huge. All right, so what I can do is, there's a number of ways to modify this. I can go straight into the strokes here and reduce the stroke width, like 0.25. And you can see that it changes that. I prefer, when it's this big, to go to my brushes. So I'll just go back here and go to brushes, which is actually right here. And I can double click on here, hit the preview button. So any changes that I do, I'll see directly on here. And I'm going to scale this down. Let's see how much we want. Something like this. 20. I can even go further. Let's try 13, 10. 10 is not bad. Now, unfortunately, in Illustrator, even though it's seamless, there's a couple pixels in there that are a little off. So we'll have to work around that. Anyhow, this is the rope. I kind of want it a little smaller, actually. Let's try something like 5%. If I can get it. 4%. I can also just type in 5, hit tab. I think 4 was actually better. 4 is not bad. Okay, hit OK, and it's going to tell you, well, that brush is actually applied. Do you want to apply it or do you want to leave it? I'm going to apply it. Okay, so there we go. That was creating the brush. Now, I'm actually going to use the tablet to try and apply this to some freehand Bezier curve. So let me show you that. All right, so with a tablet, I'm only doing this because I like to freehand with a tablet, and there's a number of different ways you can do this. I'm going to try it with the pencil tool. So I'm going to hit the pencil there, and I'm going to make some. What I'm going to do, just so I can see what I'm doing, I'm going to hit the default, and then go to the fill and hit none. So I just have a little black stroke. Oh, I actually applied it to here. I'm going to undo that again. I'm going to unselect it, so command click anywhere outside of that object, do the same thing. So default, fill, none. Okay. And so I'm just going to try to something like this. And now I'm going to select them both and apply in my brushes here, this new brush that I have. Okay, looks starting to look decent. There's a lot of breaks in there, so I'm going to try to fix that up. It's kind of cool the way the brush goes in front over here. It gives that sort of a third dimension look. I feel like this is a little far, so Command click gives you the move tool, by the way. So I'm going to move this in just a notch because I want it to look like it's looped into that loop in there. I could also just select this. If I want the loop a little bigger, with the pencil tool, you can just go over here, make that a little bigger. That seems to work pretty nice. Okay, the only problem is it doesn't go through it, which we'll fix in a minute. So maybe make that a little bit bigger, something like that. There we go. Okay, and I don't really want too sharp edges in here, but that's fine. I can always adjust here, like this edge is a little sharp. I can go in here and just smoothen that out a little bit. The L up here is a little sharp too, so I can just smoothen that out. This pencil tool is really great for adjusting curves like that. It just intelligently detects what you're trying to do. So V, I might want to make a dot up here. I'm not sure yet. Let's just try it. Make a little circle there. Apply the rope, and well, looks more like a lump. Try to make a bigger circle. Oops, there we go. It's not great, but it can work. And then in here, my N is a little hard to read, so V, I, and then N. So I'm going to try to do a sort of a smoother. See how that works. That's not bad. I can select it again, make this a little curvier, and it's rope, so it technically doesn't have sharp edges. Okay, so that's pretty clean, and I'm going to go ahead and just select this with the move tool, which is V. I'm just going to make this bigger, which is going to adjust the thickness. If you go into your transform, here you have an option that says in here that has scale, strokes, and effects. It's unchecked right now. Had I had it checked, when I made this bigger or smaller, it would have adjusted the thickness of the rope. So just be wary of that. Okay, and all right, now I could make this a little bigger. I'm going to hit Command R to get my rulers. I want to have this a little straighter, so I can always just sort of adjust these using any of these vector tools. So either I can just pick all of this here, all these little vector points, and with the arrow tool, I just bring it down a notch, something like this. I'm going to put another ruler here, and my V got a little changed. Oh, I am moving my guide at the same time. So if that ever happens, just go to guides and lock guides. That way you can't accidentally select them. And all right, so I'm going to go ahead and select these 2 points here, bring it down, bring it a little to the left, or right, sorry, and something like that. I kind of want to have this a little curved, but the V has to show. If I do it too curved, it'll look like a U. It's already a little difficult to read with a V and an I next to each other. I'm going to bring this point a little to the left. That's not bad. I'm going to try to make this a little sharper. So I'm going to take this point, hit the P for the pen tool, and just take out this vector point, making this a little sharper. And I can go to the pencil tool, try to make this a little bit sharper, something like that. Right, it's not quite rope-like to have it that sharp, but what I could also do is make this somehow curve this way. Oof, that's even worse. Well, you could play around with it and see how you can apply it. If you the less sharp letters you have, obviously the better. And I'm going to undo it because I actually preferred it before, like this. I can also go in here. Let me see what happens if I try to curve this a little bit, like that. It looks like an E. I'm going to undo that. Okay. At this point here is maybe a little high, so I can bring this down just a notch. And that's actually not too bad. Something like that. Okay. This is a big lump. But anyway, I wanted to show you how to create a seamless pattern and then apply it to a path. And this was actually not possible before Illustrator CC 2014. You couldn't actually apply pixels in this way. So it's pretty cool. To fix the little gaps, now this is really a workaround because theoretically this would work perfectly. And so this is really a workaround. And I'm just going to delete this. What I'm going to do to fix that, which is, like I said, a workaround, I'm going to select all this here, and holding down the Alt key, I'm going to make a copy on the top here, on this top layer. So now I have two of that, and I'm going to lock the bottom one. Actually, before I lock that, I'm just going to select this image and delete it. I don't need it. And lock that. So what I'm going to do here is not very orthodox, I would say, but we're going to test this out. I'm going to essentially change the pixels just a tiny bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to shorten my path just a tiny bit. So I'm going to add a point right there, and then I'm going to select this point and delete it. I'm just going to hide this here so we can see what we're doing. Whoop, I didn't mean to delete the whole thing. So I just want to undo that. So I'm just going to select this point here and delete that point. And as you can see, it moved everything along, right? And what that did was, by moving that along, well, it filled all the little gaps, except up here. So I'm going to do the same over here and zoom in. Command space bar does that. It also, on the Mac, has the spotlight, which I usually disable. So click this, see if this is not too much, delete that, and there we go. I shouldn't have any gaps. And if I do, which I do right here, I could do this a third time. It's not a great problem to have to solve, but unfortunately, it's a problem that exists. So let's go and try to fix some of these. I'm going to go in here. All right, so I'm going to go in here, same thing, zoom in pretty close, select it, go with the pen tool, add a little point right here. And then with the direct selection tool, just pick one of these vector points, delete it, which moves the entirety of that pattern down a notch. So that's not bad. I can see there's a little point here. Let's see if by adding, if I do a point here and a point right here, I can zoom in a little closer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a point in between there and delete that point. Now, you can sometimes get unexpected results, so keep an eye on what you're doing. But generally speaking, this works pretty well. Again, this is a workaround for the unfortunate fact that it's not perfect. I might have to do the same thing over here to get rid of these points. So just click right, whoop, undo that. You want the plus, you want the pen tool to have the little plus, and it deletes. Okay, and I just keep going until I see maybe here, add a couple points. What I'm doing is I'm just shifting the pattern just a tiny bit, and essentially this will be behind my main brush when I'm done. So it's really just going to fill in those little gaps. So there you go. Add another point here and here, and then this one, and delete that. And here, whoop, there, delete it. And the thing is, it can be pretty much anywhere because it's shifting the entirety of that pattern. It's a little too close. There, and then delete that. So I fixed pretty much all this. just have this little bit right here, so I'll just add one here, and in between, and delete that. This one's really stubborn. Let's undo that and move that a little bit. So I'll go here, here, and here. Delete that. It's a little better. Okay, so I could do it here as well. So let's do it from the top here. So add one here, add one here, add one here, delete. And let's zoom out a little bit. Go to 100%, Command 1 for that. And this looks pretty seamless. I can still have a few in here, so I'm gonna have to do that again. Zoom in here, and pretty simple. As long as you don't move your vector points, meaning if I accidentally move this, now I've changed it all, which you don't want. So something like that, and there you go. So now, if I take it out, you'll see that there's a few gaps in there from little holes that I've made, and we're essentially using this. I'm going to put it behind it. We're using that just for the filler, for the few little gaps that you have. They're now filled in. So again, it's not a perfect interpretation, but it actually works. Command semicolon to hide the guides, and I can zoom out even a little more, 100% there. And if I wanted to, I'm going to lock these layers. So we'll call this rope Kelvin, and we'll call this rope filler. And let's just go ahead and create another layer, call this background. And in here, I'm just going to test. I'm just going to put in some backgrounds to see what that looks like. It's a pretty clean outline. Obviously, you can add any type of background, whether it's a gradient. Well, that applied it to the stroke. Gradient, or it's purple, gradients, and it's actually pretty clean. Obviously, if I go close to what the image is, it's going to seem even more seamless. We have a few patterns in here just to test the outline. I'm not saying you have to use this. So there we go, and it's not bad. So I'm going to delete this background. I just wanted to show you the result there of the fact that it's actually transparent. So, and the last thing I'm going to do is just save this, and we'll call it rope Kelvin. And there you go, and just save this like this. And that is how you can create a seamless pattern attached to a vector path.
All right, guys, I hope you liked that episode, and it would really help me out a lot if you liked it on YouTube, put a little comment, share it on Facebook or Google+. It really helps me out, and I'll see you in the next episode.